The galaxy remembered them as conquerors. They were called the Varkal, a species born from ash, forged in gravity that crushed lesser life like insects. For thousands of years, no one dared challenge their rule. Planets fell in silence. Civilizations disappeared like sand in solar wind. The Varkal didn't trade, didn't negotiate, they conquered. To them, every species was prey. Every star system, just another skull for the throne. And yet, everything changed with a single human act. Not in a battlefield, not with weapons, not in some secret military lab, but in a worn-down city bus on Earth. It was raining hard that day in Chicago, the kind of rain that made streets look like glass, reflecting red brake lights and flickering signs like a dream half-remembered. Cars honked, steam hissed from potholes. The world felt heavy and tired. Inside the bus, the heater was broken. People kept their coats on, eyes down. A tired buzz of engine hum and rustling plastic bags filled the air. 17-year-old Malik James sat near the back, earbuds in, hoodie pulled tight over his head. The kind of kid most people didn't look at. He didn't talk much, always sketching something in a worn notebook. Ships, monsters, soldiers, stars. His mom said he had a mind like a galaxy. His teachers just said he drifted off too much. That day, he had math homework in his bag and a job interview on his mind. Fast food gig. Not a dream, but something. Then she got on. A white woman in her 30s, soaked in rain, hand on her back, belly round and clearly pregnant. She moved slow, tired, no seats open, no one moved. Some pretended not to see her, others just didn't care. Malik saw, and without a word, he stood, quiet, natural. Gave her his seat. She blinked, surprised. A smile flickered. "Thank you," she said softly, catching her breath as she sat down. Malik just nodded and stood near the doors, gripping the metal rail, rocking with the motion of the bus. Nothing heroic, nothing big. 10 minutes later, she handed him something, a folded piece of paper, edges wrinkled from her coat pocket. "You might want to read this later," she said, almost whispering. He gave her a confused look, took it, and tucked it into his jacket. Figured it was maybe a thank you note, or a prayer. Something kind. He didn't read it until he got home. What he found inside didn't make sense. Not at first. Coordinate strings of strange numbers and letters. A symbol he'd never seen before. A jagged spiral around a black dot. And a sentence written in neat, perfect handwriting. "When they come, show them this. Trust your kindness. The stars remember." He thought it was a joke. Thought maybe she was a weird artist or something, until 3 days later, the sky split open. Chicago's morning turned to midnight. Clouds burned orange. Thousands looked up and screamed as the Varkal fleet descended. Massive black ships, like jagged mountain ranges turned upside down, hovered over the skyline. No demands, no messages. Just a slow, terrifying hum that cracked windows and made dogs howl in terror. And somewhere in the chaos, Malik's phone buzzed. Unknown number. No contact name. Just a message. "You have the note. They're looking for you." That's when everything changed. That one quiet act, a kid giving up his seat, would trigger events that not even the Varkal could control. Because what they didn't know, what no one knew, was that human kindness could echo beyond worlds. And sometimes, the smallest choices unlock the oldest secrets. The war wasn't going to start with missiles. It was going to start with Malik, and the note. Malik's hands shook as he stared at his phone screen. He looked around his bedroom like someone had planted a hidden camera. Nothing made sense. Outside, the sky was still roaring with low thunder, even though there was no storm. The power had gone out across half the city. The news was calling it a global, atmospheric disturbance. But people online had already started posting video ships hovering in the sky over Tokyo, London, Cairo, Johannesburg. Same symbol. That black spiral with the dot in the middle, exactly like the one on the note. He pulled it out again from his jacket pocket. The edges were still damp. His fingers traced the paper like it might somehow answer him. His mom was downstairs, on the phone with his aunt, trying to figure out if they should pack bags, find shelter, go to church. His little sister was asking if it was aliens. Malik didn't say anything. He just kept staring at that note. "When they come, show them this." Why? Hemi was just a high school kid who sketched spaceships in algebra class and worked night shifts whenever he could get them. He didn't have any secret powers. No rich uncle. No government connection. No sci-fi backstory. But the woman on the bus had known something. She had too. And whoever messaged him now, how did they know he still had the notes? The buzzing of his phone came again. Same number. New message. "They've entered Earth's orbit. If you wait too long, the others will find you first." His breath caught. He wasn't sure if he wanted to ask the next question, but his fingers moved on their own. "Who are you?" The reply came instantly. "Someone who remembers what you did." So do they. Malik dropped the phone on his bed, breathing hard. His room suddenly felt too small, too quiet. The silence between the hums outside was deafening. He turned on his laptop. No Wi-Fi, no signal. But someone had left a file on his desktop. He never put it there. It was called simply, "They came before us." He hesitated, then clicked. The screen turned black. Then words appeared, white and slow. "The Varkal are not new. They were the first. They ruled galaxies when Earth was still cooling. But one species challenged them, not through war, not through fire, but through something the Varkal never understood. A photo popped up, old, scratched. A tall creature, half metal, half bone, kneeling beside a human, a child, maybe 6 years old. The alien's hand was open. The child was giving it something, a flower. That child was never found again. But the Varkal, remember, because that moment sparked something in them, a fracture, a weakness, something only humans bring with them wherever they go. Malik blinked. The words felt like stories, but they also felt true. Too strange not to be, too real to ignore. Another line appeared. The woman you helped wasn't from Earth. He felt cold all over. He remembered her eyes, now not just tired, but old, like she'd seen centuries, and was carrying more than just a child. And the child, was it even human? Downstairs, something crashed. A picture frame fell. Then his mom yelled his name. He ran to the hallway, heart pounding. Mom. She pointed at the window. There in the sky one of the Varkal ships had moved. Lower. Its massive black form blocked out the moon. People were standing outside now, staring. Some praying, some recording with their phones, some just frozen. Then another hum began, deep bone shaking. It wasn't from the ship, it was from inside him, a vibration in his chest. Like a bass that hit from the inside out. He stumbled back, clutching the note, and when he did, the spiral symbol began to glow. His mom saw it. Malik, what is that? I don't know, he said, voice cracking. I think they're looking for me. That's when the knock came. Not on the front door. On his window. Second story. He turned, slowly. The curtain fluttered in the strange static air, and behind it, not a face, not a human, but a tall, thin shape, with gray skin that shimmered like metal under moonlight. Eyes that looked like liquid silver. Not the Varkal, something else. It didn't speak, it just pointed to the note, and then slowly touched its own chest. Malik held the paper up, and the alien knelt, just like the creature in the photo. That's when he knew. This wasn't random. It had never been random. Something ancient had been passed to him the moment he gave up that bus seat. Something tied to a war no one on Earth even knew existed. And the woman, whoever she was, had trusted him, of all people, to carry it. The Varkal were here, but maybe, just maybe, so were others. He stepped toward the window, heart slamming in his chest, and that's when the sky lit up again this time. Not with ships, but with light. 12 beams, like spears of gold, shot down from the clouds across the horizon, and Malik wasn't sure if they were here to save him, or to stop him. Malik didn't move right away. His hand was still on the curtain, eyes locked on the kneeling alien outside his window. The glowing note in his hand pulsed like it had a heartbeat of its own. He could feel every breath in the room like it weighed. Doubly's mom stood frozen behind him, whispering prayers under her breath, holding his little sister close. The silence between them wasn't fear, it was disbelief. They were staring at something none of them could explain, and yet, it was real. Right there, breathing, watching. The alien's eyes never blinked, just shimmered softly, reflecting the golden light now pouring through the clouds in long vertical lines, like something was scanning the earth or calling. Malik swallowed, slowly raised the note again, and the light from the paper grew brighter. The alien stood up without threatening movement. It didn't raise a weapon. It didn't speak. Instead, it turned and waited. Malik, his mom finally said, her voice dry, cracked. What is happening? Who is that? I don't know, he whispered, but I think it's not here to hurt us. Not here to hurt us, she snapped, eyes wide. That is not human, Malik. That thing just knocked on your window like it was the damn Oops. I didn't call it, he said quietly. It came because of this. He turned the paper around so she could see it. His mom stared at it for a moment like it might explode. The light from it danced across her face. What is that symbol? Malik shook his head. I think it's older than any of us. Suddenly, the alien moved fast, not toward them, but toward something unseen. It pointed upward. Malik stepped back, eyes following the gesture. Something was descending, a smaller Varkal ship, sleek and bone-colored, like a knife cutting through clouds. Its surface shimmered with a dark energy that made the very air around. It rippled. People on the street started screaming. Some ran. Some collapsed in shock. The alien at Malik's window didn't flinch. It lifted both hands and placed them behind its head in a gesture that looked universal. Surrender. And then. The ship slowed. A hatch opened, and out walked 3 Varkal. Malik recognized them instantly from the files on his laptop. Tall. Almost too tall. Their armor was not made of metal, it was their skin. Living plates shifted and hissed as they moved. No mouths, just a slit where something like a jaw should be, and their eyes tiny, black, and unforgiving. They weren't looking for a fight, they were looking for someone. His phone buzzed again. One word this time. Run. But Malik didn't run. He stepped out the front door, heart pounding so loud he could barely hear his mom calling after him. The moment his feet hit the porch, the 3 Varkal turned in perfect synchronization. They saw him, and they stopped. One of them raised its hand. The note in Malik's hand flared with heat. The spiral glowed hot white. The alien behind him stepped forward slowly, placing itself between Malik and the Varkal. That's when the voice came, not out loud. In his head, a deep, rattling whisper that sounded like it had to pass through centuries just to reach him. You hold the key. Give it, and Earth is spared. Malik gritted his teeth. What key? This. It's just paper. Another voice entered his mind softer, this time familiar. The woman from the bus. It's not paper. It's memory. DNA. A thread across species. They can't take it by force. It has to be given. He staggered. Why me? Because you were kind. The Varkal took a step closer. The earth trembled beneath its foot. The ship behind them hissed with power, lights along its underbelly starting to pulse. Malik's palms were sweating. He thought of all the things he hadn't done yet, all the things he wanted. The drawing in his sketchbook, the graduation cap he hadn't worn yet, his mom's dream of him going to college, the fact that some alien superwar was suddenly hanging on him just because he did the right thing on a bus. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a leader. He wasn't anyone special, but they were all looking at him like he was. From behind the alien protector, he heard a sharp worry noise. More ships. Not Varkal, others were coming. Malik wasn't sure whose side they were on. And then, just when it seemed like something was about to snap, a voice rang out down the street. Hey, step away from the kid. A spotlight cut through the haze. A police drone. Then more military trucks roared into view at the corner, tires skidding across wet pavement. Armed personnel spilled out, yelling commands. The Varkal didn't even turn. The humans' weapons looked like toys to them, but Malik wasn't sure who to be afraid of: Morelians who had ruled the stars, or humans who were seconds away from panicking. Target the large ones. A soldier yelled. No, stop. Malik shouted, running forward, hands raised. They're here for me, don't shoot. Too late. Someone fired. The shot struck the nearest Varkal. And for a moment, the world held its breath. The Varkal didn't fall. It turned, slowly, and screamed. Not a sound, not a roar, but a pulse that knocked the soldiers back like paper in a storm. Malik was thrown off his feet. The note slipped from his hand. The alien protector caught it midair and shielded Malik with its own body. Everything shook. And then, darkness, not blackness, void, the kind of silence that swallowed thought. And in that quiet, a whisper, not from Earth, not from the stars, but from something buried long before Earth ever existed. A voice that said, he's awakened it. We are not ready. Malik's ears were ringing, but it wasn't from the blast. It was deeper, like a frequency vibrating somewhere inside his bones. The ground still trembled, and smoke filled the air as emergency sirens wailed in the distance. The golden beams from the sky were flickering now, like a signal losing strength. Across the street, windows were shattered, and a car alarm kept going off without rhythm, as if even the machines didn't know what to do. He tried to sit up but realized he couldn't feel his legs. Dust coated his jacket, and his left wrist was twisted at a strange angle. Still, his eyes searched for one thing, the note, but it was gone. The alien that had shielded him was lying on the ground, twitching, not dead, but hurt badly. Its silver eyes were flickering, glitzing. The note must have transferred something, maybe more than just memory, maybe a piece of Malik himself, something ancient, something the Varkal had feared for longer than humans had existed. He turned his head just enough to see the Varkal still standing, tall and untouched. The one that had been shot now glowed along its armor lines, like lava beneath skin. It wasn't angry, it was focused, watching, learning, and then it did. Something Malik hadn't seen before. It knelt just like the alien at the window. The others followed. The crowd, what was left of it, fell silent. Even the soldiers, battered and confused, lowered their weapons, unsure of what they were witnessing. The Varkal weren't surrendering. They were waiting. A black transport landed behind them, silent and slow, and out stepped a woman. The pregnant woman from the bus, except she wasn't pregnant anymore. She moved with strength and purpose. Her coat flowing behind her like a cloak, no umbrella, no rush. The same soft eyes, but now her gaze was sharp, focused, and ancient. She carried a small object wrapped in cloth carefully, like it was the last fragile thing in a burning world. She walked through the chaos like she belonged in it. People whispered, some backed away. She walked straight to Malik and knelt beside him. You did well, she said, brushing dust from his forehead. What is this? He managed to ask. Why me? You are kind, she said again, but this time her voice wasn't soft, it was absolute. That kindness is the only key they don't know how to control. She opened the cloth in her hands. Inside it was not a baby. It was a glowing sphere, soft white light pulsing like a heart. As she turned it slightly, it reflected the spiral symbol that had burned into Malik's memory. A perfect match. This is what the Varkal came for, she said, but it's not meant for them. It responds to human emotion, our choices, our instincts. What you did? It activated something buried in your species a long time ago. Malik tried to sit up, groaning from the pain. This was all because I gave you my seat. She smiled, but it was a tired smile. Like someone who's seen too much. It wasn't about the seat. It was about what it cost you. The way you didn't hesitate. The way you saw me. That simple moment told the universe that Earth was ready for what's next. The Varkal stepped forward. Not charging, just moving, observing. One of them raised its hand again. palm open, the spiral symbol now burned into its skin like a scar. They don't want to rule anymore, she said. Not all of them. They've been following scripts for generations. Locked in fear of something, stronger something they buried but could never destroy. And that's this? Malik asked. Eyes on the orb? She nodded. It's a seed, a choice. It doesn't destroy planets or fire missiles. It changes memory, wipes hate, rewrites grief into understanding, but only humans can unlock it fully. A low rumble began, not from ships or weapons, but from the earth itself. Cracks split across the pavement. The clouds above twisted into a spiral, mirroring the one on the note. All across the sky, the 12 golden beams began to bend, curve inward, aiming at a single point right above Malik. What's happening? He asked, chest tight. They're calling for your answer, she said. You've been chosen by more than one side now. But I don't know what to choose. You don't have to know. You just have to feel it. A sudden crash came. From behind, a military jet screamed overhead, engines flaring. It launched a missile straight at the largest Varkal ship. No, Malik shouted, but it was too late. The explosion was massive, rocking the entire block. Fire bloomed in the sky, and for the first time, one of the great ships tilted, smoking, groaning, and the Varkal screamed not in pain, but in fury. The one that had knelt stood suddenly, towering again. The lines in its armor now surged with red rage. Malik looked at the woman. I thought they changed. Some have, she said quietly. Others haven't. You're not just deciding Earth's fate now, you're deciding theirs too. He looked around at the people, his mom, still on the porch, holding his sister, the soldiers frozen in confusion, the street full of faces in fear. The orb pulsed faster in the woman's hands. Malik, she said, the memory is awake. It remembers every kindness, every cruelty, every life. It will follow your lead. He stared at the orb, heart pounding, and the sky tore open. Something much bigger was coming through. Not VARKHAL. Not human. Something older. And it was watching. The air cracked like it had been torn in half. The clouds above twisted and peeled back. Not like weather, but like fabric being shredded by invisible claws. Light poured through, not the golden beams from earlier, but something colder, bluer. It hummed with a frequency Malik didn't recognize, but every part of his body reacted to it. His skin prickled. His vision blurred at the edges. The wind around him changed direction 3 times in a single second. He looked up, and everyone else did too. What came through wasn't a ship, it was a structure, massive, silent, floating. Not like anything Earth had ever seen. It didn't shine. It didn't glow. It just absorbed light, turning the sky behind it into a deep violet black. It looked ancient, but not decayed, like it had waited. And the moment it arrived, everything else stopped. The Varkal fell still, their armor darkening. The golden beams from the sky vanished like candles snuffed out. Even the glowing orb in the woman's hands dimmed, as if aware of something greater. The woman's expression changed instantly. All the calm in her face vanished. She stepped forward, clutching the orb tightly, and whispered just loud enough for Malik to hear, "No, not them. Not now." Malik swallowed. "Who are they?" She didn't answer. Instead, she turned to the kneeling alien, the one that had shielded Malik, and gave a series of rapid, sharp hand signals. It responded by pulling itself up, shaking with effort, and stepping between Malik and the sky, like it had done this before, like it knew what was coming. The structure overhead began to pulse. Soft waves of light spread across the ground, silent, but deep, pressing into the minds of everyone present. Malik clutched his head. It wasn't panic, it was something closer to pressure, like memories being stirred, things he'd forgotten, childhood images, flashbacks, dreams he didn't remember having, and a voice, not like the others, not words, thought. Thought raw and enormous. It didn't ask, it overwrote. We were first. The memory belongs to us. Malik's knees buckled. His vision went white for a second. The weight of the presence above him felt like being dragged through someone else's past, planets burning, species kneeling, entire civilizations collapsing, not with violence, but with surrender. It was cold and absolute. The woman dropped to her knees beside him. Her face was pale now, her lips trembling. They weren't supposed to know, she whispered. Know what? Malik gasped. She looked at him with wide, terrified eyes. That you were the seed? What are you talking about? She grabbed his hand, pressed the orb into it. The note was a decoy. The real memory, the living one, is you. His world spun. Everything shifted. It wasn't the paper. It was never the paper. From the moment he gave up his seat, something had chosen him not just to carry memory, but to become it. Malik's voice shook. Why didn't you tell me? Because you wouldn't have believed it, she said, tears now slipping down her cheeks. And if they found out too soon, they would have come before you were ready. He looked up at the sky again. The dark structure was descending now, slow, precise, uncaring, like it knew exactly how much time was left before Earth's choice became irrelevant. They want to take you, she said, not to kill, to erase. If they overwrite your memory, all the potential humanity carries, the empathy, the instinct, to protect, to risk for strangers, dies with you. A new wave of pressure hit the crowd. This time, It was direct images forced into Malik's mind, alternate timelines, rewritten events, futures where humans became just another species, under silent control, a galaxy sterilized of emotion, peace through submission. He fell to his knees. Gripping the orb, it pulsed harder, his heartbeat matched it. And in the distance, more Varkal ships started arriving, fleeing. Not from humans, but from whatever had just entered Earth's space. Malik stood. Something was changing inside him. The air around his body shimmered slightly. His fingertips glowed with the same spiral pattern, not just printed, burned in. The kneeling alien looked up at him now, not as a protector, but as something else, a witness. Malik, the woman said, you have to decide what kind of future this becomes. But how? He asked. Just know, she said, firm this time. You're not just anything. That's what they want you to believe. Another message entered his mind, not from the structure, not from her. From himself, his own voice, but older, wiser, from a version of him that had already lived this somewhere in the long memory that lived in his DNA. Remember what started it, a simple act, one seat, one choice. Now make another. The structure overhead flared, sending down a column of dark light aimed straight for him. The soldiers scattered. The aliens stepped back. Even the Varkal hesitated, but Malik stepped forward, into the light, and as the beam hit him, he didn't fall, he rose. Malik hovered inside the beam, arms stretched out, body pulsing with light and shadow suspended between two futures. Below him, Earth held its breath. Around him, silence stretched like the edge of space, heavy with decisions that hadn't been made yet. The structure above pulsed again, harder this time. The skies darkened, stars disappeared, and then everything stilled. A single voice rang out, echoing from somewhere far beyond the stars, inside every mind, across every species, that watched this moment unfold. The decision has begun. Malik's eyes opened wide, no longer just human.